Welcome to this video. My name is Eva, and in this video I want to share about sadness and grief and how I process it, and I really hope that it helps you too. So when can grief happen? Grief or sadness can happen for so many different reasons, like someone dies, a family member dies, or estrangement, like you don't want to have more contact with a parent or with a child or with another family member, a breakup, divorce. You hope to get a dream job and then you get that job and then you realize you don't like that job, or you get fired, or you just have certain expectations for your life, but then you get an illness so you cannot have that life that you wish for. So these are all things, and there are many more that can cause a lot of sadness and grief. And for me, I'm in such a period right now where I feel a lot of grief and sadness, and it's quite hard. And yeah, so how does it feel like for me? For me, like right now, it feels that my inner, like you have kind of, it feels like for me, my heart it feels broken and it feels really sad. And so even if I'm, for example, meeting with friends and I am happy with friends, it still feels like it's just the outer shell that is happy, but that inner, how do you say, that core is really sad. And so yeah, so it feels like even if I meet with friends and I'm happy with them, I still get home and I still cry a lot, and because that core is just so sad and it's just grieving a lot. And that's how it feels like. And it also feels like everything is so heavy, like it's it's also a roller coaster in a way, because some days it's okay and it's fine, but other days it's just so heavy. And I feel like even my thoughts, I try to focus, I try to be focused, and it's so hard sometimes to focus because you just have that huge grief pressing you down. So even simple decisions become super hard, and simple things become super hard when you're so sad. So yeah, that's just how it feels like. And for me, why I'm feeling depressed is just because family issues, and yeah, and just in general that situation of the 20s, of being such a time of figuring it out, and kind of like you have certain expectations for life and then you get to know the real adult life. So it's just, and more reasons, so that is all why my core is so sad. So now how do I handle it, and how do I hope does it get better, is to, I have two strategies. The first one is acceptance and feeling, and the other one is fighting. So acceptance and feeling is how I do it, is I see whenever that grief comes, I don't try to run away from it, or at least I give my best to not run away from it, and instead I just welcome it like a friend. And yeah, and just when you feel all of the sadness coming, to put on sad music and just cry and cry and just like take it in, that grief, that sadness. And because also the therapist that I like so much, he also explained to me that emotions, they demand to be felt, and it's really great if you can feel those emotions, because then they can kind of get away. But if you always try to suppress them, in the end they will just become so big, and then they will turn into, for example, a panic attack or something like that. So if you feel that, like, also to make time and space for it. So for example, yesterday I could have gone to the gym, but instead I felt like, okay, I feel so much sadness, and I know this is not just a type of sadness that you can suppress, but you have to feel. So I just had the evening for that sadness and for that grief. So that can really help to actually really to feel that sadness and feel that grief. And another strategy that I have, and I think that, for you, you always have to see how it works best for you, is to that the strategy that I have is to fight also, because for me the sadness and grief, it really it makes me so, it just makes me want to stay in bed and not do anything else. So it's a very heavy feeling, and so sometimes I really need to fight and need to push myself to meet with friends or to go out or to do um, fun activities or even just exercise, because I know that in the long run it will be helpful in some ways. So yeah, it's a constant challenge between feeling that feeling and letting it be inside you, but also fighting it in some ways so that you can actually escape it in some ways. So yeah, and I mean for you, you have to figure out how much you want to fight, how much you want to feel, and yeah, and some some really important things that I want to share too that helped me a lot is to change my perspective also. So first of all is if you're grieving, if you're dealing with a lot of sadness, you should have a lot of compassion with yourself, or you don't should, but it would be cool if you could have a lot of compassion with yourself, because it is a really heavy, difficult time. So naturally you will have less energy for other things, and it's natural. So if you don't accomplish as much, it's completely fine, because you just don't have so much energy. And yeah, and there's construction going on, but I really hope that it's not too loud. And also another thing is that don't give up, because it will get better eventually, even if it maybe takes some years, but at some point there's a time where it will get better. and and yeah, just not having so much judgment, because I think that there are some people saying that, oh, but other people have it worse, but that's such a toxic mindset to have, because in the end there are always people who have it worse and people who have it better. But what counts is how do you feel, and if you're sad, then it's okay to feel that way. So yeah, so that was my video about grief and sadness. So if you have any experience with that, then write it down in the comment section. I know it's just very hard because it just takes so much energy, but yeah, everyone I think at one point in their life goes through that. Some people many times in their life, and yeah. So that is the video for today, and if you have anything else to share, write them down in the comment section, and I hope you have a beautiful day.